Hey there. Welcome back to the Golfweek Amateur Tour, the podcast. Chris, should we tell people how to join the tour?
Of course. Whether you're a seasoned member or just tuning in to learn more, we're here to help you dive into the ins and outs of the tour. If you've been on the fence about joining, there's no better time than now. It's a fantastic way to play competitive golf, meet other passionate golfers, and step up your game.
Registration is open. All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net. Click Join the Tour button and pay your local tour's membership dues.
And if you want to keep up with all things Golfweek Amateur Tour, make sure you're subscribed and listening to the podcast on your favorite platform. Don't forget to download each episode, share it with your golf buddies, and if you're enjoying the show, drop us a like and a review. Your feedback helps us grow the community and reach more golfers just like you. Thanks for tuning in. Now let's get into today's episode.
Welcome back, Chris.
Glad to be back.
Are you?
I am, man.
Doing good?
I enjoy having
Doing
our
good?
conversations.
Good. I miss you.
Anytime, you got to get through sickness and life, but no, everything's doing good.
Good. Well, remember last episode we talked to JR and we talked about the Stu subs, right?
Right.
And I told you what I wanted to do because we had that meeting to go to, right?
Right.
And I was dying for Stu subs all day long. I'm going to have me a Stu sub for dinner. And my wife, God bless her, she didn't realize what time they closed. And guess what I did not get? Guess what I did not get?
Your Stu sub.
I did not get a Stu sub.
Well,
It's
funny.
Worked all day, craving it, and didn't get it.
It's funny that you bring that up because at my last event, I had to get something to eat at the turn, and they had a chicken Caesar wrap, and I got that, and it wasn't as good as I can imagine a Stu's wrap would be, because it was still fried chicken. It wasn't like a grilled chicken, which is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good, but it wasn't a Stu's wrap good. So, JR, if you're listening, when I'm there in October, you're gonna have to bring one down.
There you go. Well, let me tell you, Howie in Hills was great. We'll talk about that later. We got to make sure everybody's listening, or tour directors, make sure you get us your Player of the Month nominees.
Yep.
Only got a couple days left in the month to do that. You have till April 5th to get us Marches. Well, we got a good show for you, for everybody, Chris.
Yes, it's gonna be a fun show. It's gonna be some fun stories.
I'm never gonna be able to say it again without laughing. So.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be some fun stories. So I'm excited to get into it.
All right, let's go ahead and get her started, bud.
Ladies and gentlemen, Golfweek Amateur Tour proudly presents Golfweek Amateur Tour, the podcast, talking about all things Golfweek Amateur Tour, including interviews with tour directors, players, and course professionals. Now here are your hosts, Tim Newman and El Paso Las Cruces Tour Director, Chris Rocha.
Welcome back, Chris. I know you got the allergies. You're allergic to something.
I'm allergic to bad golf. That's what it is.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I was. We were at. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but we went to Howie in the Hills.
Mm-hmm.
You ever hear about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is our best episode in the history of our podcast. I don't know if we want to reference any others, but Howie in the Hills. The Mission Resort was really nice. It the courses were beautiful. The weather was great. Terry and Mark got some really nice trophies. I really like the trophies.
I saw a picture of a flag. Was that also included in it?
No. Well, I don't know. I don't know if they gave flags or not, but the trophy was nice. And one of the things that Mark did, which I really liked, so they part of the entry fee included. They did two things that were really nice. Part of the entry fee included like a per person dollar amount in the pro shop.
Nice.
Right. So what Mark did was he bought 5 hats and then took them to a local embroidery and had Flight Winner
From the
embroidered on the
course.
side of them from the course, and it looked really nice.
Nice.
And the other thing that they did that I thought was ingenious, to kind of keep people interested and so forth, they did day 2 money. So they split the field in half, and the bottom half, whoever had the lowest score on Sunday got $100 voucher for the pro shop.
Oh wow. Depending on how you did on day 1.
No, day 2.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
so,
yeah,
yeah,
but
so, yeah,
we split it by however you did on day 1.
day 1, and then day 2 was whoever had the lowest day 2 score
Wow.
in the bottom half.
Right.
Yeah. Guys loved it. I don't know if other tours are doing that, but I thought that was great. You're giving guys who don't necessarily have a chance at being in the money for the regular tournament are still going to walk away with something.
Right. It's not a waste of time. They're doing something other than skins or you name it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But again, the weather was nice. Restaurant. I mean, they had like 5 or 6 restaurants in this place, and it wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. The resort. There was lots of. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Hilton Head. How, when you go in the resort at Palmetto Dunes, how there's different communities.
Right.
In the resort. That's
Right.
kind of how it was. But the main resort where the hotel was, they had like 5 or 6 restaurants right there in that hotel complex. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was nice. So a lot of people didn't know was going to be there, and that was good. So I had a good time there. And how about you?
Just surviving every day, trying to figure out where my golf game went from 2024 to 2025. But
we'll talk about that in the closing. We don't want to we don't want to depress everybody. This is gonna be a great. We got a great episode today. So again, real good episode. We're going to talk to Roger, and we've got winners from the regional at Mission Inn. So we need to get on Roger a little bit. I mean, he outdid himself this past week.
That's going to be a fun story to talk about.
So let's go ahead and bring Roger in and let's Roger, welcome back, bud.
Thank you. I think I'm going to be glad to be here.
Well, I don't know because I need to tell you, I don't know. I got Lyle's text before I got your text.
Oh.
So, I don't even know how to explain this. I've never heard of this happening before. You like I said, I got Lyle's text before I got your text, and Roger, I don't even know how to explain this. I've never heard of this before. What? So you're gonna have to tell everybody what happened because I've got no words.
So before I start, I got to tell you, this isn't the first time. That's the problem.
Oh
This
no!
is not the first time.
I wouldn't say that.
The first time it's happened on tour.
Okay.
I've gone to a golf course and I open up my trunk, and my clubs are not there.
Oh my God!
My excuse. I have 3 different cars that I drive and I have like my SUV, and then I have my sedan, and then I have a convertible. But the night before, I decided to switch cars at the last minute, and I threw some stuff like my shoes in the car and my bag of like we threw the 1 ball rule. But it is key that you throw your clubs in the trunk too.
That's important.
Yeah.
Important.
And I have like extra things in my SUV anyway. And I had like a bag in there, and maybe I saw that bag and I saw, oh yeah, I got my clubs. So I get to the court, and it was hour and 20 minute drive down to North Carolina where we were playing. Yeah, open up my trunk, and well, golly, there's no clubs in there.
Jeez.
So just a couple of spares that like I have some extra clubs I go practice with. So that was an adventure. Yeah. So I borrowed, the pro shop gave me a 64-degree sand wedge and a putter. I had a driver actually in my car and a couple of clubs, and then some guys lent me some clubs. So I piecemealed a set together, but it didn't really work out. And not having a pitching wedge was the death of me. It was, yeah, that was because I can hit a 64-degree wedge about 30 yards. That doesn't help for the 100-yard shots.
No, that's gonna take you 3 there. So but you didn't finish last though, right? So
No, I didn't. No, actually, so the first day, and I was going to mention about what you said, that other tour did with the money was pretty interesting because so I rode with a guy, and Lyle actually made an announcement. The guy I rode with, I took over his reign because he had done the same thing. And it was just a coincidence that we were riding together.
Oh
He
my
said,
God.
Roger Cowan, you're taking over for Dave Slauson. And so Dave lent me some clubs. But Dave and I were about in the middle point. We had 24 guys, I think it was, in our flight. And we were right smack in the middle. So not too bad, you know. But I got a driver and I putted pretty well. But the funny thing was what you said about the that second day score. Dave ended up, my guy I rode with, he ended up having the lowest score in our flight that day. So he would have won that money you were talking about, but he ended up catapulting himself tied for third, I guess it was. So
Oh, wow.
he wins twice.
yeah. So he had a
Oh, he would have won twice. Yeah.
yeah. So he would have won twice. Yep. But I moved up to like 10th out of 24. So I was overall can't complain too much about that. But I learned a lesson.
So, well, right.
Well, see-
there you do have another option, right? You could just have a complete set for each car and
Each
just leave it
car,
in there,
that's a good idea.
and then you don't have to worry about it.
That's
Well,
a
yeah.
great idea.
Well,
Yeah.
because I asked you why you didn't just rent a set from the course. That'd
I
been a
guess-
whole lot easier.
I wasn't thinking. Yeah. Well, I think I told you I'm a cheapskate, so that's the real reason. Oh, yeah. I do like so I had a Callaway Epic driver that I regularly play with anyway. I guess those expert clubs were a couple of clubs I had taken to the range to like practice with. So at least I had some of the clubs that I actually did like.
Right.
And then filled in with the others, but
That's
yeah,
funny.
so hopefully I've learned my lesson, but it was a lot of fun actually. So
I'm sure.
sure it was.
So I did a tournament one time where a guy, it was on a Sunday in Atlanta, and a guy showed up on Sunday after a bachelor's party and forgot his shoes.
Oh,
He was barefoot,
like no
And-
shoes.
like no shoes, had his clubs but no shoes. And
Oh.
I said, I'm okay if the course is okay with it. I'm okay with it. Good luck. Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
You know. So, but without the clubs, that's a first rider. But
Yeah.
but thank you for that.
I'm just hoping somebody takes over my reign someday. So, but I don't know that that's going to happen.
That's tough to beat.
Well,
Yeah.
well, what do you have for us this week?
So, last time we did this, I mentioned about definitions are important. And I don't want to bore people listening to this, but there's a reason I want to talk about definitions because some stuff came up already this year. And it's really key to playing the game and what you can do and what you can't do. And
Right.
even before the definitions, old habits are really hard to break. And believe it's been 6 years now since the 2019 rules changes, which doesn't seem that,
Wow.
it's 6 years. That's a long time. But some of the wording has changed, and even like penalty areas versus hazards, temporary water versus casual water, and things like that. And for a rules guy, and in any of these websites I'm on or chat groups, we always still cringe because people aren't using the right terms. And it does make a difference sometimes because you got to make sure you've got the term right so that you
Right.
know or that you can give the right ruling. Okay. And like it's temporary water now, not casual water, like I said. And I'm bringing that up for a reason because I'm going to go over something. And my friends are some of my golf friends that aren't on tour, and even the tour guys that I'm in a tech group with, they're good sports because sometimes I'll ask them, what do you mean by, or what's the answer to this? And I'll be surprised if they get it right. And usually it's not a trick question. I don't try to trick people like the USCA tries to trick people on those rules tests. I swear they do. But it's a good gauge for me to go over stuff like on this podcast, because I know what people know and what they don't know. So a couple of things like definitions, though. Like, what is the definition of a ball out of bounds? And that's like one that I will give my friends. Or what is the definition of a ball? When is a ball in a penalty area? So for out of bounds, and I like to use that one because if you're out of bounds, you get one of the harshest penalties. There's no going back. You have to go back, play another ball, plus get a penalty stroke. Hope you hit it in the fairway the next time. And then now, let's say it was a tee shot. Now you're hitting your fourth shot. So out of bounds is only when the ball is completely out of bounds. The whole ball needs to be completely out of bounds. If it's on the line, let's say there's a painted white line on the ground and part of it touches that line, you're good. If it's stakes and you line it up and it's any part of it is on that imaginary line, even just the sliver of it, you're inbounds. And that's important because you just saved yourself stroke and distance.
Right.
Okay. Now, how about a ball in a penalty area? I almost said water hazard. In a penalty area, it's almost like, I'll say the opposite. As long as any part of it touches that part of it, it's in the penalty area. Okay. So the whole ball doesn't have to be in the penalty area. If it just is on the red line, it's considered in the penalty area. So those are two good examples of knowing the definition is important, because it could save you a stroke or it could also cost you a stroke, for those definitions. And I was mentioning about casual. We used to be called casual water. Now it's called temporary water. In the tournament I just played in this past weekend, we had a red stake, and the red stake was literally 20 yards into the water. And we're looking at it like, and a guy's ball was on the edge of this water, but the red stake was 20 yards deep. Okay. So what is that water in between the red stake and where we're standing in the fairway? What is that water considered? That's considered temporary water. It's not part of the penalty area. Can you picture that?
Yes.
Yeah. So the player was going to get free relief from not from the penalty area. He's going to get free relief from the temporary water. And temporary water falls under one of the four things that are called abnormal course conditions. And that's where temporary water stands. So that was important there, because on this course, I played with a guy that played there regularly, and he said normally that water is 20 yards the opposite side of the red stake. So it wasn't like we had a whole lot of rain, but I guess it was high tide or whatever it was. So it's important that you know what the definition is: out of bounds, penalty area, temporary water versus the red penalty area, so that you can apply the right rule or not have to take a penalty stroke where you're not needing to.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So I was thinking about penalty areas yet. I was going to say about a penalty area. When you're, give me 1 sec here, because I wrote something down that I thought was, about the penalty areas and the temporary water. That's what I was. So there's no such thing as temporary water in a penalty area. And the reason that, just think about this for a sec, a lot of, with the new definition of penalty areas, woods are now penalty areas all over the place, where in the past they weren't. Penalty areas were were water hazards, basically, right? Before, most of them. But now so many courses are lining, at least where we live, so many courses have the woods as penalty areas. But let's say you go in those woods and there's water there, or even temporary, it rained. Well, you don't get relief for that because you're in a penalty area. So there's no relief for temporary water
Well,
in a penalty area. That make sense?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that happened as well because we were it happened at the course we were at. And then another thing about like, what is the definition of, where does a penalty area start? And if it's not marked, I think I've mentioned this before, even if it's a pond there and there's no red stakes. Yeah, I had one guy say, well, there's no stakes, that you can't take relief. I say the definition within the penalty area includes things like ponds, ditches, lakes, water features, even if they're not marked. And that penalty area would start basically where the slope of the ground goes down. And if it's a flat area, basically you would make a judgment call. If you had to call in the committee, like where does it start? Where does it end? And that happened in the group I was playing with. A guy's ball went into the area. There were no stakes, but there was just water everywhere, and we could tell it wasn't. It was basically more like a ditch, I'd say, than a lake. Right. And we gave him relief because it was water that was always there. So that was a penalty area.
And generally, you'd be able to tell, where the water would stop, the high water mark or what have you. There would be any grass, there'd be grass or no grass, and
Right.
Obviously sometimes that's not the case, and then you've got to make that call. But most of the time, you're going to be able to tell really pretty easy where the penalty. Notice I'm saying penalty area now, and not the hazard line.
Good job. He's doing good, Chris. You go to the head of the class.
Yeah. Well, you got me a few weeks ago on that. So
yeah, right. And then like on my home course, it's lined by ditches and it gets very wet out there, but often the water overflows and I end up having to take relief for temporary water.
Right.
And that comes up in our tournaments there as well, that it's temporary water. Again, there's lots of other definitions. Those are really important just to know, because so many people they either hit the ball out of bounds, or, you have to, you bring your partner over to see, all right, is it in bounds? Is it not in bounds? But you need to know that, because like I said, it's one of the harshest penalties, stroking this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that was it that I had for those. I mean, there's tons more, and I could go over a few each week or something, but I thought those were important. Yeah.
I can't believe it's been 6 years since the rule change. It seems like it was just a couple of years ago.
Yep. 2019, January 1st, 2019.
We need to get, if your ball's on a divot, get free relief. That needs to become a rule already.
I will never agree with that. I'm sorry to say. And that these chat groups I'm on, that question comes up all the time, and we will get 100 responses and replies on it. And most of them, it goes probably 50-50, but like, what's an imperfection? What's a divot? What's not a divot? What if it was a divot from 3 weeks ago that's kind of grown in but not grown in? It's all that. What if somebody filled it in with sand? And so I'm a member of these rules chat groups, and then you get a lot of people talking about, well, if I'm playing with my buddies, it's like, well, this is a chat group about the rules. If you're playing with your buddy, do whatever you want.
Right.
We don't let people come here to find out the actual rules. And what's surprising about those chat groups, and that they really don't. A lot of people don't realize, like, there are things like the Golfweek Amateur Tour that we play by the rules, or that there's competitions and all that kind of stuff. Like, There's like, what do you care what the rule is? We're not on TV playing. I say, well, I know an organization that has 10,000 people that play in it. I think that's what we're up to, something like that. and we play by the rules. So, it is good to have the knowledge.
It is, and maybe, again, there's nothing wrong with playing with your buddies. It's fun. It is what it is. But when you're playing by the rules, the game really changes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. And I'm totally. So sometimes I get in competitions with guys that never have to play by the rules, and I'm not that good a golfer. But when they get up, I crush them like every time by like 15 or 20. I'm talking like literally. And it's like, well, now you know what it's like to play by the rules. It's like, wow, this was different. It's like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially the gimmies, and we don't do gimmies. People get upset about that.
So we're not supposed to be doing that? What?
Right. Other than definition, I'll just say the first couple of tournaments, it's when we've talked about these things before, that it's basically the same. Those same basic elements keep coming up: relief from a cart path, and water hazard, penalty areas, things like that. Those are the same things that are coming up, and knowing about the basics on those have come up in our tournaments that have started this year so far. Well, I think our tour has had 3 tournaments so far.
Yeah, and like always, you all have real good turnouts. I mean, obviously, Loud does a great job up there, and you guys have huge turnouts.
I just got to ask you guys something. You didn't notice. See, I'm a quick learner on, maybe not about remembering my clubs, but I'm a quick learner about one thing. I noticed in a past video with one of your guys, they had a trophy in the background. So I don't know if you can see. I put a trophy back there. I hope I earn another one in the next couple of years, but yeah. So,
well, let's put it this way, Roger. We made a deal with Kevin Odom from the Louisiana North Tour. If he wins 3 in a row, he's gonna be a regular guest. So you forget your clubs 3 times in a row. We'll create a new segment for you.
That sounds good. All right. Yeah, they've got 2 days in a row, 2 separate tournaments on our tour, but I'm out of town the next one, so it'll be a while since I get to play again, which I'm gonna miss it. But yeah, so I've done okay this year so far, standings wise. So
well, what's that trophy that you got back here?
That was the 2022 regional that I won. So that's probably my best one because it was
regional.
Yeah.
I don't think I've won since then. So I don't think I won any. I know I didn't win any in 2024.
Well, you got to bring your own clubs.
Right. Really helps. Yeah. That helps.
That'll definitely help.
Yeah. It did make you appreciate some, like I said, I didn't have a pitching wedge and I did have a 9-iron, a borrowed 9-iron, but it just wasn't the same. And not having a pitching wedge or a gap wedge was just killer. Yeah. Which you can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, when a number of years ago when I was playing a lot and traveling a lot, I actually had 2 sets of clubs. One set that I traveled with that just pretty much stayed in my air travel bag, and then the set that I would normally play with. And that way, if something ever happened, I had the extra set, but the travel set was just never had to worry about, forgetting to pack something up in it or anything. We just took off and went.
Well, I might have to get 3 sets in case I leave a set out of course.
Oh my goodness! I'm gonna hook you up with my buddy Will Allen from Atlanta, who he was. Will Allen was the guy who got in his car, drove all the way to a tournament, played in the tournament, and after the tournament was over, realized he left his car keys at home.
Oh no! Oh please.
Yeah. So. Anyway, well, Roger, thanks so much for all that you do, and we'll see you here real soon.
Okay, thank you guys, appreciate it.
See you, buddy.
Bye now.
Let's take a break from the show to hear about Strixon's ZX Mark II irons.
A great iron set needs more than good looks. It's got to be fast and got to be pure. But good looks never hurt either. The all-new ZX Mark II irons. from Srixon.
Yeah, Tim, it's great to have Roger back on. It's been a little while since we've had him, but it's always a pleasure to have him on there and being able to define these rules and these sayings because, you don't have the privilege of getting it as much as I do now, but during the tournaments, getting rules questions while I'm trying to play is not fun. But I think my guys are understanding that, just play 2 balls because I'm going to ignore your 8 texts you send me. And you're probably done with that hole anyway, and you played 2 balls anyways, and
You
got
probably
the
got
same score.
triple on both of them.
Right. So, but it's great to have the clarification because I've known some guys that have told me because of his segments, they know the rules better, and they've actually used some of his, I don't want to call them cheat sheets, but being able to use the rule in your advantage.
Yeah.
To their advantage, and it's helped them out. So it's always great to have Roger on here.
It is. And so I sent him a question, a few weeks ago, and I kept saying hazard, and he said, "Tim, I don't know what you're talking about." I said, "What are you talking about, Roger? Just answer the question, man." He said, "I don't know what a hazard is."
Right.
He said,
it's
"Did you
out of
mean-"
his system
He said,
now.
he said, "Did you mean penalty area?" Yes. Yeah, I did. You knew that's what I meant. And
Well, now
he laughed. He laughed.
now
So
we have the
it was
upper hand
fun.
with him forgetting his clubs. I know
Yeah.
someone who went out to a party for his birthday the day before a tournament and had to get a ride home, which was great, but didn't realize that his car was in a parking garage that was closed Sundays.
Oh boy.
And guess where his clubs were? In the
The closed
garage.
parking garage.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And he had to go to the course and he had to actually rent clubs. And he didn't do pretty bad, but, he tried to plan ahead. And good thing he did, but, I mean, I guess he had too much fun to be able to drive home.
His name wasn't Chris, was it?
I'm
I'm
not
not talking
gonna,
about you.
no,
I'm
it
not
was
gonna
not
say
me, but I'm not going to confirm or deny any allegations off of that. I just think it's funny because, we always try our best. Like even me, especially when I'm traveling,
Mhm.
and I have to drive to the location, I'll stop
Yeah.
maybe 5-10 minutes because I'm like, damn, did I pack my bag? I might as well stop now than get to the destination and not have my bag. So even I do that, but at least I check way before an hour and a half at the parking lot of the golf course.
Oh, it's, I shouldn't have to say this, but you gotta have your clubs.
Yes, yeah, especially
Oh,
for a golf
boy.
tournament. Yes.
Well, Roger's awesome. Obviously, he's a good sport with that, and he mentioned, he said it wasn't a lot of content, but those 2 pieces of information that he gave is huge. I mean,
Right.
it could be a difference between 2 and 3 strokes.
Definitely. I mean, and you can use it at any course
Yeah.
during any time of the season.
Yeah.
It will, like you said, it'll help you save strokes. And at the same
Exactly.
time, I'm pretty sure there's been a time where you're like, man, is this temporary water or is this, penalty area?
Right.
Or if we're have a shotgun at 7 a.m. and the sprinklers just got turned off, and there's a collection of water somewhere, what are my options? So
Yeah.
it's always great to know those things, because you never know when you can use it or you can help somebody else with that information.
Right. Exactly. Well, again, Roger, thanks. We need to make sure we thank him for his time, and everybody understands, the amount of time that Roger puts into doing these segments for us. I don't think people realize. We give him some just general topics, and then
Right. He runs with it.
he goes and does research and is really does prepare to come on, and it's so. And he does it because he loves it. He does it because he loves the tour and wants to help, and we can't thank him enough for what he does
For sure.
for us. So Roger, thanks. We really do appreciate it, and obviously we'll talk to you again here real soon. But Chris, hello. What the Howie in the hills?
Mm-hmm.
I just love saying Howie.
Every time you say that, I think of a band. Like that'd be a good name for a band,
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't
like a jazz band or a I don't know. It'd be a pretty cool band name.
So, and again, as we said in the opening, it was great. I really there's a difference between the seniors and Golf Week, and the Golf Week side. Obviously, the competition is the same. Everybody wants to win, but the senior side, guys are just much more laid back.
Mm-hmm.
Still having as much fun. Competition is still there, but it just seems down a notch. I don't know if it's
No, I agree. When
Yeah,
when
you
I
know what I mean?
was when I was director of the senior tour here, um, the guys would come in and they turn in their scorecard, but they really didn't even care how it ended out.
Yeah.
It's, let's get a drink, let's hang out, let's just talk. And they're just have a good time, kind of get out of the house. Most of them were retired, so just being able to go out there and be with a group of guys and gals that just wanted to go out and play some golf, some competitive golf. They just seemed real chill about it. And whether they missed their last putt to win or get into the prize money, they were like, okay, well, it is what it is. And I think just having those years under their belt kind of gives you that attitude of nothing you can do to change it.
Exactly. And saw a lot of people there that wasn't expecting. I saw one of my Atlanta members there, Jesse Durham. It was good to see him. Shep Ellis from he's in a D-Flight in Orlando. Met him in Chicago when I was tour director up there, so it was really good seeing him. Charlie James, saw him. Let's see who else was there. Robbie, got to see Robbie Robinson, and I'll come back to Robbie here in a second. But saw let's see, who else was it? Garrett Graham back from Chicago, who I met when we were up there. Oh, I know I'm missing somebody. Shane McAdams, yeah, Tampa tour director. He was there. So
Nice.
a lot of people had a good time. Again, not expecting to see them along with some of the other people that were up there. So it was a good time. But I had an opportunity to sit down and talk to Robbie a little bit, and I was really surprised. Robbie told me how him being on the podcast, changed his life.
Right.
And that's not a joke. It's he how it got him to think about his time in the service in a different way, and got him to open up about some of the things that he's been keeping suppressed.
back. Right.
Yeah. I was shocked and and so when we do this, it was something that, number one, I wasn't expecting, and it's not about us. It's always about them. It's always about the members. But to hear what he told me, it really made a big impression on me, and I want to let you know that how much he appreciated us having him on, even though he didn't want to do it.
Right.
But he was so glad that he did it, and he wants to come on again. I said, we'll have you on it, whenever you're not on the cruise, if you want to come on, we'll have you on. But I want to let you know that, and I told him, I said, you other veterans have told us no. I mean, I'm not going to force anybody to come on. If you don't want to come on, that's fine. And people have different reasons for wanting to and not wanting to, especially from that perspective. And
Right.
we respect that. And I think I never really looked at it from his perspective, and some of the things that he really at the time had no interest in bringing up. And when we do this, we just kind of let him go, right? what you want to talk about with your military service and or don't want to talk about that we won't bring up and
Right.
and go on from there.
Yeah, I mean, we usually give them, how they say, we give them the floor and let them kind of lead that conversation because some
Yeah.
topics can be harder to talk about than others.
Yeah.
And we're not here to bring up any past remorse or any bad memories. We're just here to,
Celebrate you.
yeah. So, I mean, that's awesome. I'm glad you shared that because, we hear it all the time, especially during nationals that we're walking around. You and me, we get the compliments and this and that, but um, I don't think everybody understands how difficult it can be to come up here. And not now that we're video, when we were just audio, it was a little easier. But now that we're video, um, those nerves can come up, and we appreciate everyone that comes on there because without them, we wouldn't have anything to talk about, and we wouldn't have a podcast.
Yeah. True. Let's get into the winners, bud.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the famed Mission Inn Resort. We've been playing here over the last 2 days. They've taken really good care of us. We're sitting in here in the Vista room. They've got us set up us where check-in and scoring was. The staff here has been really good. We've got our first champion of the tournament in. It's Dave Rummels in the champ flight. Dave, congratulations on the win this week.
Appreciate it. It was a tough 2 days out there for everybody. So it was just I'm trying to hang in there as best you can and hopefully make a few birdies. I didn't make a single birdie yesterday, and I didn't make a birdie the front nine. So I finally got it going the last 9, but it's really difficult. I think the main problem you have out here is it's so tight, and if you miss the fairway, you get a lot of iffy.
Yeah, real if you like.
And you have to hit a lot of shots under tree limbs and stuff. And I felt like at the front 9, even though I had 7 in a row, I had some decent shots, but I just couldn't. I couldn't make a par. It was just I either have mud on the ball or I was in a rut or in a trees. I just could not seem to make a par. I hit some poor chip shots, really. I mean, I've never been really hitting good chip shots in that stretch. So, and in the back 9, I had it going. I had 4 birdies, and I should have had a fifth. At 10, I had an easy chip just off the front edge and didn't get that up and down. So that kind of got me going. I said, "Hey, look, you got to now is the time. You got exactly. Oh, you're running out of holes. You only got 8 holes left. You got to turn around." Then I made 2 birdies in a row and ended up making 4 that back 9. So it was a good finish for me.
Well, we'll talk about the mindset again because look at your scorecard. Yeah, 7 bogeys in a row. Seven.
Yeah, I've never done that since I've been playing golf.
And then you turn around. Talk about the mindset and what you have to do.
Well, I already came up here knowing that I told my wife, I said, if I make a bunch of bogeys, I'm not going to get mad because I know how tough a course it is. Because if you get mad on this course, you're going to shoot mid-80s. So I just try to stay patient. I think for me, since I don't play much golf, my short game is not up to the standard that needs to be. So when I miss greens like I did on those 7 in a row, I didn't get any up and down because I didn't hit it close enough. I had many chips I left 10, 12, 15 feet short, so you can't do that. To score, you got to be able to get them inside 3-4 feet consistently.
And really, that's the area where it's really touch, and you have to practice in it.
Yeah.
And it's the touch that's going to be able to, to be able to get, like you said, inside that 3 feet.
Yeah, I really, to be honest with you, I haven't played any competitive golf since 2016, so I don't practice at all. I play 9 holes or 18 holes a week. That's it on Thursdays. And I might hit occasional balls here and there, but not enough to really to be consistent. So now that I just turned amateur about 2 months ago, I'm going to try to play some tournaments. So hopefully my boss will let me play a little bit more. He's kind of tough. He was squealing when I had 2 days off on the weekends. He said, "You're taking a week off. You can't do that. We're busy on the week." I said, "Ryan, I gave you a 3-month notice.
Yeah.
You knew I was going to take the time off. So I think he'll be okay with me taking a few days off. But I still have that competitive fire. I played professional golf for 36 years, so I still have that desire to play. And I'm getting the age now, right? It's almost too late. I'm 67, so
It's not.
it's not. I still have it. Like I said, I still have the desire. I just want to play some tournaments. It's just fun to get the nerves going.
Yes.
I don't know, for some reason I actually enjoy that. I don't know if I'm something wrong with me, but
I think there's something wrong with all of
well, it's just I thought why I want to put myself through that punishment. But I enjoyed just trying to fight the nerves and just play the best you can through all that.
but that's kind of who we are, right? Yes. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we do this. You know, you talk about age. You know, a couple of years ago, we had somebody in the A flight who was 71 years old, won a national championship in the Golfweek set, not the senior side. So it's everybody out there listening. It's never too late. Pick up the club.
That's great. Yeah, I like your stories like that because there is a few instances like that where people just start to play good golf as they get older. Yeah, sure, and they, I don't know, just maybe mellow out a little bit and chill out because
Maybe that's what it is.
it's easy to get mad. When you're playing bad, it's easy to get mad. I came close a couple of times to losing my cool today, but I kept telling myself, just hang in. Everybody else is playing poorly. If you just get it going, you might have a chance.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I mean, this tour, you know, we don't relish in other people playing poorly. You know,
I don't like to see it.
don't like to see it, and
Especially in the group you're playing in, because sometimes if you're playing well and there's other guys in your group playing, you feed off it. But when everybody's playing poorly, it's like everybody's body's language is bad. Yes, it's difficult to stay focused. Right, and that's kind of what happened with our two groups for 2 days. The course conditions were tough enough that if you weren't hitting the ball well, you're going to shoot some high scores.
So which is the toughest course, do you think? I mean, because I didn't play, but I wrote
the one we played the first day because it's much tighter and much quirkier. There's a lot of blind shots on the other east. Yeah. So I didn't play a practice round, so I didn't know where I was going the first day. I had no idea on some holes. So I played this other one a couple of times when I first opened. So I remembered a few holes, but it's been 30 some years since I played. So I really had to really just kind of like pick out a yardage, how far I wanted to hit it off the tee and try to stay back away from the tree lines and stuff. So that's the hardest part out here because you want to try to get down as far as it can, but some of those holes you couldn't take that chance because the tree line kind of narrows down where and I had a couple on the front and I was in the fairway, I had no shot. I was underneath the tree lines, I had to punch it, and unfortunately didn't hit good shots coming in, but it's just you got to have a lot of discipline on a course like this. You got to stick to your guns and play high percentage golf, right, even if it leaves you longer shots into the green.
Right, and that's one thing that I also find with champ play players. You guys go in with a plan, and you pick your spot, and we're a high handicapper. Doesn't matter. We're pulling out driver.
The thing that really gets away with most people is when they're not swinging well, they go away from the game plan. They start playing more aggressive, right? And that's what really gets you in trouble. On a course like this, you have to be disciplined, right? And say, like, I only need to hit a 220 off this tee. I need to hit a 205 off this tee. You have to do it because if you start getting aggressive, you can really get you in trouble.
Get a big number.
Yeah, big numbers, doubles and triples pretty easily. Yeah.
Well, Dave, thank you so much for that. Was congratulations.
Thanks for it.
We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. All right.
Welcome back to the Vista Room, the Mission Resort. We got our A-Flight champion, Dwayne Divers. Dwayne, congratulations on the win this weekend.
Thank you.
A-Flight is tough competition. I mean, look at the scores. You went 74-81, won by 2 over Al Clerico. Talk about the round yesterday.
Well, yesterday it was some good shots, some lucky shots, and some pretty good putting. The course, the course was in really good shape. The greens were beautiful, and got lucky on a few shots and made a few putts.
And today, talking to some players that have come in, some said yesterday was tougher, some said today was tougher. What was tougher today?
Way tougher today. I think one thing, the greens were faster. The greens yesterday were plush, medium speed, so you could you felt comfortable rolling the ball up to the hole and not worrying about getting too far by. Today, some of the pin placements on some of these holes were murderous. It was a lot of fun. But you have so much elevation change, right, on this course. And it really got all of us at some point during a round. I think it was on number 6 today. It was straight up the hill. I almost got to the green, and then it rolls back down 40 yards. And then I hit it, and it rolls back down 40 yards, and I hit it, and I get to about 20 yards, and then I hit it over the back. So it was one of those courses that, especially in Florida, you don't get to play a lot. Right, a lot of flat courses down here.
Yeah. So I mean, you were paired with Al and Robin. You were up by 4 over Al going in today, and 5 over Robin. But you shot 81, and they both won 79. How was it going back and forth with that group today?
Oh, it was great. So I started out one under for the first 5 holes, and felt really comfortable. But then we got into the teeth of the golf course, and Robin is a little bit longer than me and Al is very consistent in his shots. I got a little wobbly on a couple holes, and it brought him right back into the match. But I made a few birdies that kept it, kind of bouncing back and forth. Robin made a good number of birdies. Al was all day long, just barely outside the hole for birdie. So he didn't get one today. He deserved it. He hit some really good shots, some really good putts, and they just didn't fall.
Well, that's just kind of how it works sometimes, right? And you just kind of hang on and win. But for me, it's a competition, especially when you're in the last group, and then the winner comes out of the last group, and the other two guys that you're with, it's right there. So you're banging every shot, every hole. That's, to me, is what really makes it fun.
Oh, it does. We got down to and really you've got on 15. It's a short par 3, but if you miss the shot, you're in the junk and you might be taking triple.
Yeah.
And so we all hit right on the center of the green there, made par, and then Al and Robin got in a little trouble on 16. And I almost missed the green, but got on 2-putted for par. And I got a little bit more room there, and then hit probably the best drive of the day on 17. Cause that's to me, that's one of the scariest holes on the golf course. Cause especially if you got your lead's not very big. You got to put it up over the trees. You got to know where to land it, and you got to put that second shot in a good place to be able to get an easy shot into the green.
So I was thinking 18 because you got number one, you got to go over the water, and then you got the water all the way down the side on the right side. And that green, to me, again, I didn't play, but to me, it looks like it's small. It looks like it's actually kind of tucked behind.
Oh, it was a little bit. That was a tough pin placement today. Al. All three got off the tee box okay there. Al hit his ball a little bit to the right, and he needed to make birdie or put the pressure on me because I had a 2-stroke lead, and it was almost an impossible putt because there was a ridge and it was really tough putt to get close. But we ended up I ended up coasting in because I had that lead, so I 3-putted the last 2 greens because I didn't really have to try to make them. So
That's right. Yeah, two-stroke win. You take
I wanted to make them.
I saw you collecting some money from them over there.
I did it
Whatever, which again it's always good as well.
Always have some good little fun game that we do on the side. So it's always competitive and a lot of fun.
So what's next?
So next in 2 weeks, reunion. Also, I've got some FSGA events coming up for qualifying for some FSGA events, and like the Senior Open and the Senior Amateur. But then I think we're at reunion in 2 weeks. I haven't played the Palmer course. I've played the Watson course, and they're top-notch courses in Orlando.
Actually, it's been a while since I played down there, but I love those courses.
I would highly recommend it. I like, Terry and Mark do such a great job down here. And one of our favorite courses is PGA Village in Port St. Lucie. They always do a great job for us there. It's a really great golfing courses. I haven't played Reunion in about 4 years, but when I played it, it was beautiful. So I'm looking forward to that. I know we're playing PGA National this year. So there's a lot of great events that are coming up, and I'm looking forward to coming back out here and playing with my buddies.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Now, I know I'll be at PGA Village as well, so I'm looking forward to going out there with you guys.
I would say, if anybody listening to this podcast, if you get a chance to come down to PGA Village, it is, one of the best golf courses we play.
Well, Dwayne, thanks so much. Congratulations, and we'll see you down the road.
All right, thank you.
Welcome back to the Vista Room at the famed Mission Inn Resort. Here with our B-Flight champion, Doug Chapman, all the way from the Michigan Tour. Doug, congratulations, and
thank you.
Welcome to the show. So you won today. You went 80-85, won by 3 over Jeff Kelly of the Orlando Tour. Talk a little bit about yesterday's round. We'll talk about the courses later and see what you think. But talk about your round yesterday and what you did well.
Started out driving really well all day long, hitting fairways and hitting greens, which is normal what you want to try to do. And so that seemed to be my strong point yesterday.
Well, you made a couple birdies yesterday too, so you got some skin money.
I think I got tied. I don't think I want any
You
skins.
should, I think you got 2. It's showing 2. No, I'm sorry. I can't read. Jeff won 2 skins yesterday, see? So maybe we'll give him a couple skin money. You take the win, right? That's what's most important anyway, right?
Yes.
So today you shot 85. First thing you said when you sat down, you don't want to talk about your front 9.
Right.
It happens. So you shot 80. So seriously, what happened on the front 9 today?
Got into trouble a little bit with some of my drives. Got into some areas that was where you don't want to be, and just couldn't recover very well out of them. So
But you went 45-40, so you did recover on the back.
back 9.
What was the key to turn things around on the back 9 today?
Sat down, had a talk with myself to start hitting the ball back in the fairway.
Stop doing that. Stop it.
Just started hitting more fairways and greens. The front 9 I thought it played tough today because you're so much of the course is back uphill.
Right.
And trying to judge it, which normally down here in Florida we don't have that.
Right.
So just judging the distances back up there.
Yeah.
Getting that right.
I could see that as I rode around the course today, but luckily, again, we don't want people to play bad, but Jeff shot 45 too, so you didn't really lose any ground.
No.
Which kind of a
all
blessing.
the guys in my group was having some trouble today in their front 9.
Well, it's funny you say that because the Champ Plate winner, he came in and he had 7 straight bogeys on the front 9. And that's something he said he hasn't done in forever. 7 straight bogeys on the front, and finish up with 4 birdies on the back. But out of both courses, which did you think was tougher? Because some guys have said yesterday was tougher. Some guys said today was tougher.
Now the first course we played today was easier than today's course.
Okay.
So the back 9 here resembles a lot of the other course, and where we don't have the hills and
right,
you're back more on flat ground and stuff. But the front 9 playing back up into the hills was challenging.
Yeah.
Very.
So when are you heading back to Michigan?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yep.
You gonna be around here for a reunion or?
No, I'm playing on a member guest. I
Okay.
promised a friend.
That's
Play
okay.
a member guest.
Are you
with us.
You're allowed to miss the tournament here or there.
I played over in Kissimmee,
Okay.
and when I come back down next year, I'll make sure I'll play more of these.
So what's your favorite course to play on tour up in Michigan?
Arcadia Bluffs.
Yeah. So anybody who's up that way, that's the course to not miss.
It resembles a lot of it's a Scottish type course. How there's but it plays on Lake Michigan, so you have all the views of Lake Michigan. So it's like you're playing on an ocean.
But you got to do it in the summertime when it's not.
Oh yeah.
It's
Snow.
So summertime when it's not. When's the snow going to be gone from up there?
It's gone now. They're playing golf.
Well, I saw, the Golfweek Tour director, Michelle Gillen, posted some pictures on Facebook last night, and she still had snow.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying, no, we're not doing it.
Yeah, I think our first event is the end of April, and we're playing Egypt Valley, which the senior tour used to play that.
Okay.
Up by Grand Rapids. So
Okay.
But we play really nice, great courses. Dennis, that runs our tour up there, he does a great job with everything. And I'll give a shout out to him. He runs a good program.
Yeah, I love Dennis Nault's awesome. I love him. I mean, anytime he comes around, he's a fun guy to hang out with and talk with. But always hear good things about his tournaments, and players love him. So just keep it up. Stop talking to me. I'm going to get you on the podcast one of these days. Yeah. Well, Doug,
We're not going to be here for an hour. I feel.
that's okay. But see, I love. I mean, I love it because you always when you talk to him, you're going to learn something. Right. Right. So, well, Doug, congratulations. It's good to see you.
Yep.
Travel safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks.
Welcome back to Howie in the Hills and the famed Mission Inn Resort. We've got our Sea Flight champion, Ted Olkowski. Ted, congratulations on the win this weekend, bud.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, first off, tell me about your round yesterday. We played the Las Colinas course yesterday, and if you don't know, Las Colinas means hills.
Yeah, we saw a lot of hills, especially on the green. So, yeah, it was interesting. I had never played either course before, so it was new to me. And luckily, a good friend of mine, John, that I was playing with, knows the course well and helped me manage the shots and stuff like that. And, us golfers, we all think that we're PGA Tour pros and and we should shoot a 67 as a timeout. And I was disappointed with my round. Then I looked at the leaderboard and I was like, oh, not so bad. I said second.
Well, you're only one shot back, so you weren't out of it. You were
Yeah.
right where you really need to be in the final group going into the round today at the El Campeon course, which means the champion course. So there we go. Tell me about that.
Well, it was a little tougher today. So the course is tighter. The greens were much slower, so it made you think that after yesterday, I left half my first putts short, and but it was super challenging and super fun. I think we made the turn, I had like a 4-shot lead, and 3 shots later, I was 3 shots right. So, luckily, I was able to score well at the end and come out on top. So,
well, you were paired with Mike Sickles today, right? And were you tied with him yesterday?
he was 1 stroke ahead of me yesterday. Yeah.
So he was one stroke up on you.
Yeah.
So what was it like going back and forth today?
It was great. He's like a really serious golfer, and to me, golf should be fun, whether you win, lose, or whatever. You're outdoors playing out. Exactly. Beautiful. And, I try to share a little Jesus with everybody when I'm out there on the course, and I'll learn a little bit about their lives. And just, I've made so many friends on this tour. Probably 3 of my best friends are from the senior tour. And
how awesome was that? I mean, we talk about that all the time, but to hear players come off the course and in a tournament like this. By the way, it's beautiful here.
It's real beautiful.
The weather's been great, and for you to mention that again, that just kind of shows what the tour is really all about. Yeah, there's the golf. There's a competition, but it's about the camaraderie, it's the friendships, it's the relationships that we build along the way.
Yeah, and I'm a farm kid originally from upstate New York, and some of the most beautiful scenery and animals I've ever seen have been on golf courses.
Yeah,
It's really spectacular.
yeah. Actually, yesterday riding around, we saw some wild turkeys.
Yep, saw them. The sandhill cranes were everywhere.
Yeah, saw them.
Tons of alligators.
I didn't see any alligators yesterday, but that's okay. I'm not seeing them. If they're hidden, I'll be okay. So, you won by 2 strokes. Obviously, again, Mike Sickles, but Jim Siders from the Columbus, Ohio tour came in to play. I mean, there was people really from all over the country here. So Columbus, Ohio. No, you're good. There's somebody from Michigan in the C flight.
That's the funny thing is, like, you play with these guys and you find things in common with them. The guy you said from Columbus, Ohio, actually lives in Alba, Florida, where I went to high school. And Jim actually has a house in Cape Coral where I grew up.
Does he really? Yeah. How about that? Yeah, that's awesome. So, what would you tell people who chose not to come here this weekend if we do it again next year?
It's just really a fabulous golf course. Both golf courses are fabulous. The first one has like really fast greens. The second one is really challenging. Yeah. It's super fun. If you love, this is the best time of year to play. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. There's not too humid and not too windy.
So Chris, did you hear that? The weather was actually perfect. And Ted's right. It wasn't hot. It wasn't cold. I mean, the weather was perfect. Really, no wind to speak of. Maybe a little bit yesterday, but today it was great. Come on down. Next year, don't miss us next year. Make sure you're here. But Ted, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations. And what's next for you? What's your next tournament?
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to take about 6 weeks off now and try to spend all this money that Harry gave me.
Go on vacation, right?
Probably going for Hawaii.
All right, bud. Well, again, congratulations. Take care, and we'll see you down the road.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back to the Vista Room at the famed Mission Inn Resort. We've got our final champion of the weekend from the D Flight, Dave Kubik from the Augusta Tour. David, congratulations on the win, bud.
Thank you, sir.
It was a battle today.
Yes, it was a tight battle. I was quite a bit strokes behind when we first teed off, but slowly creeped my way in. Didn't make much progress on the front 9. I'm gaining ground, but the back 9, couple holes, and then it was just a dogfight, and we just had a blast doing it, though.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear, because again, you beat Shep by 1 stroke.
Yes, sir.
And after the 9 today, the lead was the same. So I mean, he was he was ahead by what, 7, 8, 9
Yeah,
strokes.
7, 8, 9, 10 strokes, something like that. Yeah.
And you closed that gap all the way up, and then
Yeah, we both had some good holes on the back. We both had some bad holes, and then when we got to 18, you do your pre-shot routine, and I thought, well, I know I'm still behind somewhere, and all I can do is put the best tee shot I can out there, and she played beautiful, and then hit a 5-iron up into the green, and I was pin high, and went, well, I can 2-putt from here. I missed 4 birdies today.
oh wow,
And I turned around and I told my playing partner, I says, this will not go in. It's impossible. I had made a birdie all day. But it was nice. I made the 2 putts, and then Shep doubled. So it was an Aunt Jemima flip. He had me by the stroke.
yeah. Well, I was talking to another one of the winners. Hole 18 to me, I didn't play, but I rode the course. Hole 18 to me seemed to be like one of the toughest courses, toughest holes, because you got to carry the water. You got water all the way down the right side, and then the green seemed to be tucked back behind the water. So for you to make a par, that's a pretty good hole.
Yeah, I was really happy with it. My long game played good today. The hole that I thought was the hardest today for some reason is there was a par 3 where the water is short of, it's all water in front of it. Okay, I can't remember the hole. And the green was so fast. I hit a flop shot, put it on the green, and it rolls all the way down, rolled back off the water. So I chip it out to the side, put it back up on the green, and it rolled all the way back to the water to triple on it. And I was like, well, I had fun with it, and the holes were beautiful. That was a nice thing. Every hole was so pretty, you couldn't help but stay positive.
Talk about your round yesterday. And which course did you think was harder, the other one or this one?
I never really look at a course as like one being harder than another. I always look at it as which one was I better mentally prepared for?
Okay.
And I was better mentally prepared for today's course because the folks around that have played it, and I hadn't played it before, told me that it's harder. So I was ready to hit different clubs off the tee. I was ready to hit that, but both courses were just a blast to play.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear, and I'm glad you had fun. So today, 48, 45 for 93. That's a pretty good score.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Uh-huh.
As long as I don't have to be a triple-digit midget, I'm a happy camper. That's my joke to myself. It's like, hey, 99 is not triple digits, so as long as I can stay out of it, I'd love to shoot in the 80s with everybody else, but as long as I can stay under triple digits, I'm happy.
Well, you had 2 good rounds. Shot 95 yesterday, 93 today. That's solid. That's good deflate scores.
That's old man game.
I tell you, that's all right. We'll take what you can get, right?
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm in the right flight. I get to play with a bunch of great guys, so I'll take it.
So the real question I've got for you now, and what are you gonna say to your brother? Because I don't know. I don't know when the last time he's won a regional. So
yeah, I do have 2 younger brothers that play on the tour, and of course Steve's the tour director up in Augusta. So the only thing I'm going to tell both of them is, we're still going to the Nationals together. Just you guys haven't qualified yet. And I won 1 tournament last year, and it was the Pawleys Island regional.
okay. Oh wow.
So I'm still going to go back and play that, even though I won here. I'm going to go back and play because defending it.
Right.
I'm probably going to get my butt handed to me, but I had so much fun. It's like this course. It was just so much fun to play. You can't help but play.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to tease him. I'm like, the oldest guy, the oldest brother gets in first, so.
I know it's going to bother Steve a little bit. We had him on the podcast this last episode. So, and he's I love him.
Oh, he's loving to death.
I mean, you have to say it because he's your brother, but I mean, he's solid.
Yeah, I mean, he'll go out of his way to help anybody. He's such a nice person. He's way nicer than I am. But I'm already going to Nationals, and he got work to cut in.
So, Steve,
yeah, I think you got work to do. Sorry, man.
Get after it, right? Well, congratulations. It was good seeing you, and we'll see you down the road.
Super.
Take care, bud. All right, bye-bye.
Let's take a break from the show to hear about Srixon's ZX Mark II drivers.
ZX Mark II drivers are for major players, major winners, major power. All new ZX Mark II drivers, only from Srixon.
Chris, again, interviewing the winners was a lot of fun. We've got David Kubik, the D-Flight winner. That's Steve's brother, and the Augusta Tour director. And as soon as he got done the interview, he called. He actually has another brother who plays as well. Called them and kind of gave him shit because so far he's the only one that's qualified for nationals. And he's apparently the oldest of the brothers. So,
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. And another really good story that came out of this, the Champ Flight winner, Dave Rummels. I don't know if that name rings a bell. Dave Rummels.
No, it doesn't.
Now he is a former PGA pro.
Okay.
Played in the Masters,
Oh,
played in
really?
U.S. Opens, played in PGA Championship. Yeah. I think he said he was 72, 73 years old. Hasn't played golf in, I think he said 16 years.
Wow.
And just got his amateur status back. And I told him, at some point this year, we want to have him on for a more formal interview. Have him on. Just again, for me, it's like I want to hear some stories. I want to
Yeah.
hear what it was like. If we look back to some of the episodes that we've done, one of our most downloaded episodes was the one we did with Gaines Beard last year.
Yep.
And they're I guess they're probably close in age. And I don't know the specifics of Dave and when he played, but it'd be really interesting to see what his experiences are or were and comparing them to Gaines. Where Gaines was doing the mini tours and qualifying each week, and we're trying to qualify each week against somebody who qualified for the Masters, who qualified for the U.S. Open, qualified for the PGA Championship, and those types of things.
Yeah,
I just can't wait to hear
cool
some stories.
stories. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's really cool stories to it's like one of those episodes where you can just sit down and just chit chat and just hear
Exactly.
what he's saying and what he's been through. Because I mean, you and me can imagine how it is to go to these events as spectators or patrons. Okay. But being able to qualify and play and be inside the ropes is a whole different thing.
Whole different thing. Yeah, exactly. So, but again, it really, really enjoyed interviewing the seniors. It was a lot of fun. Mission Inn, again, beautiful place. If we go back next year and you're on the senior tour, you don't want to miss it. You really don't. Terry Mark did a great job, and I can't wait to do their regional, their Golf Week regional coming up here in Memorial Day weekend.
Nice. It's gonna be fun to start to incorporate them in our podcast, the senior tour, because they deserve just as much recognition as the Golf Week.
Exactly. So you're not a senior yet, but let's hear about your
My experience with what?
with playing golf, man. I mean, I'm not seeing your name on leaderboards. I don't even know what's going on with you anymore.
It's I don't know. It's been an interesting first couple of events. I mean, the first event I got third place. Next event I think I got third or fourth, and then it just kind of hit a brick wall. I'm not hitting any greens in regulation anymore, which is causing me to have to chip and two putt for bogeys. I'm seeing more bogeys than I've seen in my life, and I want to say the last event was because I was sick and wasn't able to play, but I don't want to use that excuse, for far too long. So I don't know. It's been tough, but everyone's been giving me encouragement to keep trying and keep going at it. And
so wait a second. I want to hear the actual encouragement that Jordan's giving you.
oh, Jordan's asking me to move back down because he wants more money in the pot. A lot of beef fighters want me to move back down. But no, I've committed to this. I don't think I'm gonna move down all year. If and it's a big if I decide to, it'll be right before the cutoff, so I can at least try and do nationals in B flight. But again, that's a big if, and I don't want to hear from you because I already know what you're gonna say. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I think I'm just gonna stick it out and tend to the wounds for the first year and hopefully spark something in the next couple weeks before I head to Ohio.
Dude, it's March. I mean,
I know. And I've looked at all my scores in the past, and the first 3-4 months of the year, I tend to struggle until I can I don't know, until the weather gets warmer.
until it gets too hot to play golf, right?
Right, and then nobody wants to play, and I'm cool as a cucumber.
See, that's awesome. Well, again, I look at it like this, man. It's March. You're playing and competing at distances that you're not used to.
Right.
It is, and you have to remember your handicap is your handicap, and you got to figure out a way to play your game to get better scores.
Right.
Because you're playing back for doesn't mean you swing harder on your driver, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you do anything too drastically different, but get better at the piece that you can get better at to get a better score.
Right. Right, and I think I'm starting to see that, and just trying to play smarter around the course. I got to hit some more greens in regulation and give myself a chance for at least a birdie putt or a par putt. If not, work on the chipping game to get that thing dialed in. To then get one putts. But it's a work in progress. I am learning a lot about myself and about the game, and I see myself up there on the top of the leaderboard pretty soon, especially with the events we got lined up for my tour. Some of the better courses I enjoy playing. So if I can have a good round and enjoy the time that I'm having, I think the score will show.
It will. I agree. It will. So anyway, you'll get there, and we're not gonna blame any of this on the allergies or the sandstorms or any of this other stuff. You'll be just fine.
Yeah,
plenty of time left. So
yep.
Although we say there's plenty of time left, there's not a whole lot of time left to get your nomination. Tour directors not a lot of time to get your nominations in for Player of the Month for the month of March. You have until the 5th of April. That's, I believe, this coming Saturday.
Yeah,
I believe
Saturday. That's when I have an event.
So get them in. I think we already have 4 or 5 at least. And remember how this is going to go. We're going to take all identifying information off. We're going to send it over to our president, Dennis McCormick, and he's going to choose. And from there, Chris, we'll see if he can come on and announce it live.
Yeah, hopefully that'd be cool.
And if not, again, because I mean, not getting into it too much, but things they're still running back and forth,
right?
And that obviously takes precedent over a lot of other things. So
right. I mean, it's it's life. Life happens. So
exactly. And then we got the iron raffle. Make sure you can Venmo me. It's at Tim NATC, and all this will be in the show notes. And grab a chance to win a set of Srixon irons.
Yes, definitely get in there because I mean, I bet you waste $10 on a cup of coffee from Starbucks. Yep. Why not skip that cup?
First off, if you're going to Starbucks and spend that much on coffee, call me. We'll
Starbucks is expensive, man.
It is. See, maybe it's me, which I doubt, but it could be. I'm okay if it is. But when way back when I was growing up, we would go to 7-Eleven, right?
See?
And get coffee for it was like 80
3
cents a
cents.
buck, 80 cents a dollar maybe. And I remember, and this was back before coffee was cool, right? Before it was cool to drink coffee. people would say, I can't believe you're going and buying coffee from 7-Eleven.
I still can't believe you're going and buying coffee at 7-Eleven.
Oh, dude, you don't even want to know what we were buying from 7-Eleven. You don't even want to know. Okay? So I'm not saying it was me. I wasn't even there. But at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, 7-Eleven, we shouldn't be at 7-Eleven at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It's
No.
just, you've made bad life choices. Yeah.
No, see, I'm a
What-
stricker for coffee. If you don't have good coffee, I'll never go back to your establishment again.
I mean, that.
Okay, I take it back.
but you-
If
but
it's
you-
for breakfast.
But you don't have to spend $7 for a coffee, dude.
Right,
To get a good cup of coffee.
No, you're right. I don't spend $7 for a good. But I'm just saying, if cut a fast food meal out of your week and put it towards a possibility for a new set of clubs.
Yeah.
Not a bad option.
Exactly. I agree with Chris. Did you hear that? Write that down.
Mark it down.
Oh boy, dude, I miss you. Hope you get over this sickness or allergies or whatever soon.
So do I.
It's not good.
It's not, but taking it day by
Well,
day, man.
Let me ask you a question, okay? And I know I'm not going to put this on live, so you don't have to worry about it. Are you just doing this to get out of housework?
No.
Okay. You sure?
No. Positive.
Okay. I saw the wake there. No, seriously, but hope you get over it soon. It's or whatever it is, allergies, whatever it is, you get it worked out because you can't be walking around like.
Right. No,
I know it
I
sucks.
will. It's crazy. I don't remember having this before, but my wife swears I have, so I know I can get over it. It's just a matter of time.
All right, bud. Well, take care of yourself and best of your family. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Be safe.
Bye, buddy. All right, that's a wrap for this week's episode. But Chris, after all this time, you would think we would remember this stuff.
We forgot to tell people how to register, didn't we?
Yep. Take it away.
Well, if you're not already part of the Golfweek Amateur Tour, what are you waiting for? Grab your clubs, join the fun, and see what competitive golf is all about. You can sign up today and start meeting some incredible folks who love the game as much as you do.
All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click the Join the Tour button, and pay your local tour's membership dues.
And hey, don't forget, if you're enjoying the podcast, you can catch us on all of the major podcast platforms. Be sure to download, share it with your golf buddies, and throw us a quick review if you're feeling the love. It helps us keep bringing you the good stuff and reaching even more golfers out there. Thanks for hanging with us, and until next time, keep swinging and having fun out there.
We'll see you next time. Take care.